Now, before I begin my review, I would just like to state right now that this review is based off the notion of being reviewed by someone who only focuses on the main campaign and the co-op. I did not play multiplayer, nor will it be mentioned in my review. That out of the way, let's get started with the review. The main campaign of Advanced Warfare takes place in 2054 as we follow our main protagonist, Private Jake Mitchell, played by Troy Baker, as he takes part in a mission to South Korea with his longtime friend Will Irons. However, during this initial mission, Jake Mitchell is badly injured and Will is killed in action. After burying his friend, Jake is discharged due to his injuries, and it is here that we meet our game's main antagonist, Jonathan Irons, played by Kevin Spacey, who was Will's father, and offers Jake a chance to return to action and join his PMC company, Atlas. Jumping 4 years later, Jake has been given a highly advanced prosthetic arm and has been working with Atlas in order to take down the terrorist group known as KVA. However, after the KVA successfully managed to engage a serious nuclear attack on American soil, killing thousands of people, Jonathan Irons takes this opportunity to profit from this disaster and take a shot using his military force Atlas in an attempt to gain world domination, in which Jake now finds himself reuniting with his own Marine commander in order to stop Irons. Now, I'm going to be honest, I'm one of the very few gamers out there that actually plays the Call of Duty games for the main campaign, and although this particular story does not really do anything new or surprising, I can honestly say that this was the best campaign I had played through since Black Ops 1. The performances from all the actors are top-notch, giving the campaign a very high quality of production. Although, if you've played the last number of installments in the Call of Duty franchise or have seen enough military films like I have, you'll most likely be able to predict what happens before it happens, and the ending suffers from being underwhelming and just sets up the fact that there will indeed be another Call of Duty game coming after this one, most likely being titled Advanced Warfare 2. In short, this game's campaign plays out like a typical Michael Bay summer blockbuster action film, and if you know what to expect going into it, then that is exactly what you will get. Though I will admit this game does seem to try its hardest to do something new, but that's all it will offer. Now, of course, Call of Duty is a standard first-person shooter, and chances are that if you've played any recent installments over the past 6 years, that you are going to feel right at home with Advanced Warfare. The biggest addition to this installment is the introduction of the exosuits. Now, there are two different classes of exosuits labeled Assault and Specialist that provide you with a series of combat options that range from Overdrive and Mad Gloves, which allow you to slow down time and scale up walls, to Boost Jump, which allows you to hop a good number of feet into the air to reach specific locations. Now, these combat options do give you a large variety of ways you can approach a combat scenario. However, in a whole, most of these functions are limited. The vast majority of your gadgets are only accessible at specific points throughout the mission, thereby giving off the illusion that you have the freedom to use your exosuit any way you want. Another addition that Advanced Warfare will give you is your variety of grenades that you can use. You have access to up to 6 different types of grenades, which allow you to shut down your enemy's electronic battle gear and drones with EMP grenades, to being able to highlight and label your enemy's locations with threat grenades. Though these are nice additions to your combat arsenal, the downside is that having all this gear makes the game not very challenging. Even on the hardest difficulty, I had so many tools at my disposal that I hardly ever died and could fly through missions in no time. The main campaign also provides a good number of select gameplay moments and set pieces where you take control of a variety of combat vehicles, like a futuristic hover bike, or take control of an enemy's futuristic battle tank, and these set pieces do shake up the gameplay from time to time. Once you finish your 6 to 8 hour campaign, you can head over to the Exo Survival game mode, which is pretty much this game's version of Horde mode, where you and up to 3 other players must hold off wave after wave of enemies while trying to achieve specific objectives. In a whole, outside of the addition of the new exosuits, which makes the combat and gameplay easier than previous installments, there's really nothing here that you haven't already played in previous installments. Now, I had the opportunity to play Advanced Warfare on the PlayStation 4, and like all previous installments, the game looks great. The world of 2054 certainly carries a futuristic feel with its environment. However, as I played through each of the levels and missions, I couldn't help but get the feeling that I had done this before. And when I really took a minute to really soak in the environments and the missions, I realized I had. In previous installments, I have fought my way through battlefield ruined cities, I've fought on the decks of damaged carriers, I have stealthed my way through dark forests, and I've made my way through military facilities. In terms of overall level design, outside of a few key set pieces, there is not a single mission throughout the main campaign that you haven't already played in a recent Call of Duty installment. However, the game is running at 60 frames per second and is crisp and clear even with all the debris and explosions in your face, and I noticed no sense of lag or loss of frame rate. The high-res cutscenes also look truly amazing, and in my opinion, they look as close to actual filming as you can get on a modern console. However, some of the sound choices did feel a little off to me. Some of the guns really don't have a sense of power, and the explosives don't really add much to the overall feeling of fighting on a massive battlefield where there's so much shooting going on around you. The music department also feels a bit standard for your stereotypical military shooter with a patriotic soundtrack and blood-pumping orchestra when the main combat set piece takes in motion. Like most previous installments, Advanced Warfare keeps to its standards of being a very visually impressive game that takes advantages of the current gen system's power, but lacks an attempt of trying anything new or innovative, making sure to add only everything you would expect in another edition of the Call of Duty franchise. Now, I'm going to be honest, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare is probably the best Call of Duty game I've played probably since Black Ops 1. However, there was a lot of serious missed opportunity, especially with the really interesting addition of the exosuits. The biggest problem is that I think it really comes down to the overall level design. The level design really should have been based off of something like Crysis, where it's much more open world, thereby giving the exosuits the ability to really approach the mission the way we want to, instead of being forced to take these linear, already pre-parade routes like we've had in previous installments. This was a serious missed opportunity, and even though you can use these exosuits in a much more free open world space with the whole Exo Survival Co-op mode, it's really nothing new that we haven't already experienced. Now, chances are, if you're a Call of Duty fan, you've already picked up this game, and if you're not a fan, you're really not interested in playing this game at all. But coming from someone who kind of sits in the middle, I would at least suggest that you rent this to kind of get a feel of what the exosuits could provide if the level designers for probably the next Advanced Warfare 2 game do decide to make these levels a little bit more open world. If I had to give this game a rating, it would have to be a 7.5 out of 10. Certainly the best Call of Duty game we've had in some time that puts in the most effort, but they really just didn't push it as hard as they could have been for the first true innovative game for these current gen consoles. So without further ado, that is my review for Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. If you like this game, please feel free to share your thoughts in the comments down below, and feel free to like, comment down below, and please subscribe to track me in my future game reviews. And like always, thank you guys for watching, you're awesome, and I will see you next time.